I'm about to start my third week of that. That will roll into another round of 21-day fix, but adding in the 3-week yoga retreat. Right now I'm in the big group of the, what is it, Lettuce Leader September? I forget what it was called. But the one that's the Beachbody Health Bet. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be rolling into the Fall into Fitness that starts October 10th.
Yep. Perfect. How about you, Jess?
So I'm doing hammer and chisel right now. And same, I'm in the that September health bet, and then gonna do, I think next month I want to do 21-day fix extreme. But I did want to ask, I've actually never done 21-day fix, so I don't know if I should start there or start with extreme. But then, do the Let Us Fall into Fitness a challenge.
I think you could do extreme. I would.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're pretty fit already, so I think 21-day fix would probably be boring for you. Mm-hmm. So yeah. If you just jump into extreme, you'll be fine.
You'll be okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it's never a bad idea to research the fix just to know that it's more basic, but it's pretty implied. I mean, if someone's just starting out, I've had enough people have success on it where I feel completely comfortable referring them to.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's nice. I love that you, and Maggie, this is something that hopefully you're getting a feel for, is we all kind of, for the most part, do the groups together. We used to do a lot more separate, but I don't know. It's kind of nice with the momentum of everyone being able to invite them. So I'll make you a coach, Maggie, in the future, kind of like an admin in those groups. So for the October one, that way, when you talk to friends and, as you work on yourself and you're inviting people to join you, you can add them to our group. But so Maggie is a fresh coach, so I'm trying to juggle kind of her goals and her knowledge of maybe not a lot, but also you guys who have been in this for a little bit. But yeah, Melissa, I want to kind of give you the floor on the things you guys want to talk about, and if we have questions after for anything besides what Melissa's going to cover, I'm happy to cover that as well. But let's go for it.
Okay. So just to give a little background for Platinum Edge, I know probably some of you saw us posting about Summit and how we went to Nashville back in July. Platinum Edge is not a Beachbody conference. It is put on by Platinum Presenters, which we are automatically a part of because of the team that we're on. So Spartan Nation is a downline of it, which means Maria is a downline of it. It's started with Christine Dwyer, which I don't know if anybody is familiar with her, but if you just kind of search her on Facebook, then you can figure out that she started way back in like 2008 with, I think she was working with Shalene at the time, and they started, that's kind of back when they started doing coaching and realizing that, their coaching was bringing in all these people, and they wanted to have kind of a foundation to help grow their team and help teach their team. So there's actually a really cool website, Platinum Presenters University. So they have trainings on there, forms and systems and stuff that you can use to check out. So I definitely recommend that for newer coaches. But anyway, the conference is a lot smaller than Summit. So Summit, I would say, is like a yay Beachbody party. It does have trainings, and it's really cool, but it is how many went this year? Like 200,000 coaches, Maria?
It's like a big pep rally.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, yay, Beachbody. Beachbody is great. So they tell you about programs and stuff like that. Platinum Presenters is way more intimate. There's 800 people there, and that's it. You were in one ballroom. Everybody was in one room, so you got to see the speakers. You weren't just sitting up in some big stadium. So it's way more intimate, and the trainings are a lot more detailed. So it's less about Beachbody and their programs and more about how to grow your business. So I basically just sat and took a ton of notes, and I kind of went through and condensed everything down, and because I am a total nerd, I made a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to share my screen and then kind of just go through what I did. All right. Everybody can see it okay?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. All right. So this is Christine here in the pretty blue dress. If in case nobody knew who she was. So the first kind of section, I wasn't really able to kind of cover everything on the call, but I wanted to do like the three most important things that I thought would translate well tonight for the call. So the first one is how to attract the right people. It's basically building your avatar, knowing who you are. Your avatar would be kind of your ideal customer and or coach. So this was one that Christine did, and she went through and she just kind of went through a bunch of questions to try and figure out kind of who you are as a person, what are your interests, who are you outside of Beachbody, outside of fitness. So just kind of going through the notes in red are just kind of my answers of how I would do this. Maggie, for you, I'll go ahead and read it. It's kind of question one is your audience male or female? What would their age range be? For me, in my case, I would probably say that women in their anywhere from their late 20s through maybe like mid to late 40s is going to be my demographic. I don't really relate to women that much younger than me, and I'm not in that older generation yet, so they're probably not gonna like how I post things. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have kids? Do you have pets? For me, I am single. I've never been married. I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids. I like them. I like other people's kids, but I like not having them. But I am a mom to a super cute rescue dog. So focusing on, even in my hashtags, putting bull terrier rescue and, specifying the breed will even get you that much more of an intimate following. What's your personal style? Are you casual? Are you dressy? Are you punk? Are you gothic? Like how you identify with yourself is gonna be how you identify with your audience. So don't try and be something that you're not just so that you because you think that you're gonna miss out on customers or coaches. You're gonna try and it's gonna fail because that's not who you are. So things like, where do you vacation? What outdoor activities do you like? What kind of setting do you live in? I just moved out to the country. I have experience living in a city, and then now I live kind of out in farmland, but I live close to a town that has city and culture, so I'll, profile that too. Can you connect with people over what TV shows or movies that they watch? Or same with books, magazines, things like that. What kind of personality do you have? And this will really help not really in finding customers maybe so much, but in building your team and finding coaches. Like, are you straightforward? Do you is tough love your thing? Or are you sweet and I dot all my I's with hearts, and be that person. It's okay. Don't be afraid that you're going to put people off. This whole exercise kind of really helped me because I realized that in doing my Facebook page and kind of my Instagram, I realized that I had kind of softened my personality because I was afraid that I would offend people. But then kind of listening to how a lot of these top coaches talk, like dropping an F-bomb every now and then, if that's you, then that's you. I mean, talk how you talk, because otherwise it'll come across sounding fake and they'll see right through it. So Are you a homebody? Are you a social butterfly? Do you have hobbies or special talents? What do you do for fun? Kind of take into account, like whenever I can, I try and get out and do stand-up paddleboarding. I like taking nature hikes. I go on walks with my dog. Maria, as a new puppy owner, you're posting a ton of stuff about your puppy, which is great. And just kind of connecting with people, and people will say, oh my God, yeah, I have the same dog, or yes, I've had a puppy before, and you just start building on those conversations. So again, using this information to kind of help you design your posts and reach out to your ideal customer. Does that all make sense?
Absolutely.
If you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. So the next part, kind of going with that, is your followers don't equal Success Club points. And you want to create quality over quantity when you're doing social media. Just because you see a coach with, a couple 100,000 followers doesn't mean that that's how many leads that coach has. That just means, I don't know if some of you have gotten out there on Instagram and noticed that there are bots now that you plug in hashtags, somebody will plug in hashtags, they will plug in accounts, like keywords, and they will find your account, and it's just some generic comment, like a smiley face or a thumbs up, and that's all you get, but it's supposed to generate interest. Well, it's not somebody that you're going to convert into a customer. So just focus on who's following you. When you're going through on, if somebody's friending you, on your like page or on your personal page, and, check out their profile. Is it some guy from the Middle East that, is proposing marriage to you? Danielle Natoni says that she gets those all the time. She's like, I'm flattered, but that's not going to be my customer. We don't even, we don't serve other countries other than US and Canada right now. So, don't put a lot of effort into people that you don't think are going to actually convert to be customers. In building quality, you want to ask yourself, what do you do daily for your followers? What value do you provide? What are you a resource for? Just keep that in mind when you're creating posts. Something that Danielle said when she gave her presentation was that your followers need to trust and love you. That whenever, she's fit and thin and muscular, and she gets people sometimes in the comments saying that she looks unhealthy, and she says that her followers will come to her, like not come to her rescue, but they will defend her like immediately. And so she knows that her followers are her friends, and they trust her and they love her. And she said that, if she were, not that she would do this, but if she were to tell them that if you took this bag of dog poop and rubbed it all over your skin, it would make you 10 years younger, that they would probably go out and buy it because they trust her. Now, she's not gonna, you're not abusing the trust, but who are you other than Beachbody? They said to come up with at least 5 pillars that make you who you are. What makes you unique? What makes you freaking amazing, as one presenter put it. So just use kind of that when you're focusing on it. Every month you should be making specific and strategic posts regarding your coaching opportunities and your challenge groups. Now, of course, this can be more than once a month, but just make sure that you're being consistent. You should always have a plan. You should always be running a challenge group. You should always be running a coach sneak peek or something of that nature, and making it available. But also your daily posting should also be an invite or breadcrumb. And Danielle says she uses something called the so what factor. So if you're posting something think to yourself, if you were to look at it and in the message, what are you saying? Like, so what? Why are you saying this? Why are you posting this? Why is it relevant? Why is it important to your follower? What value are you providing? They all really recommended not to use Beachbody corporate images. I know it's really tempting. I've done it because they're pretty and they're professional, and the trainers always look super hot in them. But their focus was to kind of stay towards promoting you 100% of the time. That you should be the resource for your followers and your customers. Otherwise, what's to keep them from just going to beachbody.com and buying what they saw off the infomercial? Like, why should they trust you? So make sure it's you that's showing up in those images, and or you making those graphics. And then along those kind of same lines, and again, I'm guilty of this because sometimes I see other coaches' stuff and I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect, I love it. But don't use somebody else's stuff word for word, because it's not going to sound like you, and again, it's not going to be authentic. So customize it, make it your own, use your own voice. Don't just copy and paste. I know it's hard. So then there was a lot on branding and kind of how you present yourself in front of the camera, especially since live videos are kind of not the next new thing, they are the thing right now. Right now, videos have 135% greater organic reach than photos. And Mark Zuckerberg was quoted as saying, in 5 years, most of Facebook will be videos. He said that back in 2014. So it's 2016, and still, live video is our biggest trend this year. So it's something that, I know a lot of us are probably scared to do, or we don't know what to talk about, but it's something that we need to start practicing and focusing on, because that's where you're going to grow your following. Kind of some ideas if you're looking for what your branding should be, or what kind of ideas to put out there. If you were a magazine, think of yourself as a magazine. What would your cover stories be? What would you put on the front to attract people? And these could be videos, these could be blog posts that you write. How to organize something like your office or your kitchen, your shoe closet if you have one, or your pantry, like how to clean out your pantry and have healthy items in there. How to make a recipe. Favorite new products you've discovered if you're into beauty and skincare and hair, or maybe you're into crafting. My friend down the road, she just decorated the whole front of her house for fall, and I was just completely blown away. Like, I had no idea that she built these pots of like ornamental kale and teeny tiny little pumpkins and a wagon full of hay with like a scarecrow, and just all in a day. And I would love to be able to do that, and I can't. What's your system for meal prepping? Or do you have certain allergies or dietary restrictions or health issues that you deal with every day? Like, I've been hearing a lot about thyroid issues and Hashimoto's lately, that's popping up. So if that's something that you know a lot about because you've dealt with it, then be that resource for people. There's a lot of people out there that have thyroid issues that are looking for help, or people out there with gluten sensitivities that, are looking for great recipes on how to still kind of eat their favorite things, but not have to have issues with gluten. Cool new gadgets for your phone. If you know of any good apps, things like that, photo editing, videos. And then doing weekly brain dumps, either weekly, or you can even do them daily at the end of the night. Just kind of get out your notepad and just write a list of just a bunch of stuff. Scribble on a piece of paper, or do it throughout the day in your notes app on your phone. But just kind of keep track and then turn them into ways of providing value over the next week. But whenever you're creating content, just remember that you want to find that sweet spot between what you want to say and what you want to hear. And you don't want to have videos that go too long, but don't ramble. Kind of practice, especially if you're doing a live video. It's okay to practice what you're going to say beforehand. But yeah, just make sure it's concise. And then using edutainment, be engaging and show off your personality. So you're educating, but you're also providing them something fun to watch. You don't want it to be boring. You don't want them to be like, oh, okay, that first 5 seconds was cool, and now I'm bored, and I'm going to move on. And then they don't get any value from it. And then the main thing, too, especially one of the presenters kind of really stressed was you want to be professional. Have a nice background that isn't distracting. One of them joked, put on some lip gloss and brush your damn hair. Like, this is your business. Yes, I know there will be times when you're going to have your sweaty selfie and your hair's going to be up in a bun, and you just got done working out and maybe you had something that you want to say, but for the most part, when you're creating content, you want to not distract them with the hot mess that is your life, so that they can focus on your message and your content. And you want to be taken seriously too. Especially in your profile photo. They said that, the more professional it can look, the better. They also said that, I guess Facebook is now allowing everyone to do little 7-second looped videos for their profile picture. So if that's something that you're interested in, that could be something that's a little more eye-catching, especially if you're commenting on other people's photos and they're going back and reading them and they're like, oh, why is that one moving? Like, I'll click on that person, see why it's moving, and then your page pops up, and then they can start reading all about you and seeing some of your other stuff. So, something to think about with that. Social media recruiting. So this was another good one. Kind of focusing again on your brand. That's kind of one of the big pieces of the conference was, designing your brand and who you are. Who is your target market? Who are the top 3 leaders? Not always the top 3. Maybe look to somebody that's 3 to 6 months from where you want to be right now. What does their site look like? What are they doing right now? So look at that. What is your overall message? And in your message, are you being edgy? And are you setting yourself apart from other people, making yourself unique? Again, with the social media, your profile is someone's first impression of you. So look at your social media profiles and think, if I saw that, would I do business with me? Would looking at that make me trust somebody? So when you're prospecting, you can, you've got your warm market and your cold market. So their tips for right now, your friends and your followers is people maybe that you haven't reached out to in a long time. You can definitely reword this to fit, your personality and the situation. But, their example was, hey, I have to apologize for not reaching out to you beforehand. I know you've been on my Facebook account for X amount of time, and I've seen your stuff and we've never actually connected. One of my goals is to get to actually know more of my Facebook friends. You've got a great energy. What is it that you do exactly? So that last question is getting them to initiate a conversation with you. And you want to find out what it is they do for a living, and then you hope in return that they ask you that question, because then you can tell them casually about yourself and what you do. Now, if you're cold prospecting, like if you're going to, if you're going to accounts and looking at people's posts, and you think, oh, this would be a person that I think would probably be interested in what I have to offer. So maybe you send them a message that, hey, I almost didn't reach out to you, but then I decided to anyways. I swear I'm not a random Facebook person with a spammy message, haha. But I've been noticing the comments you've made on the Tony Robbins page, and I checked out your profile. We definitely have the same mindset, like when you posted about work ethic. So I thought we should connect. Great to chat with you. What is it that you do for work? Again, asking what they do, because the goal in those situations is to get them to ask what you do in return. So you wait for a response, and as long as it's positive, you want to keep the conversation going. Keep it casual. Be you. Be authentic. Sorry, I keep having to drink water. And you wanna keep kind of probing to find out if there's a way that you can help them. They're of course gonna look at your page because they're gonna want to know who's contacting them. So make sure that your content shows that you stand out as an authority figure. Using videos, blogs, articles, things like that. And then once you do kind of find out what you do for work, what they do for work, there's kind of a closing process to kind of see if they're interested in hearing more about the business opportunity. So, oh, how long have you been doing that for? Oh, wow, you must love it, huh? Have you ever, and maybe they'll say, yeah, I do love it. Or maybe they'll say, oh, yeah, it's okay, it pays the bills. And then, great. Have you ever considered doing something else? If they say yes or no, well, this may or may not be for you, but based on what you shared with me, you may want to take a look at what I do, especially since it wouldn't interfere time-wise with your current commitments. If you're open, I can send you some information. If not, no big deal. You're keeping it casual, you're being polite, you're not trying to arm wrestle them into what you're trying to do, because you want them to be part of your team. So of course you're going to be friendly. So that kind of leads into developing a team. What do you do once you start having coaches? How do you inspire them? And you should be inspiring your team with your own actions. Nobody should be able to outproduce you. You should be the number one out there hustling and talking to people and getting leads, and they should see you doing that and then think, yes, if they can do that, that's I should be able to do that too. When you create more success, you put yourself up to inspire others. And, one thing that they really talked about, because, we are in network marketing, and so, there's that stigma of almost like used car salesman of, you're just trying to sell things and you're just trying to make money. But in our business, for what we do, it's not greedy to invite others to change their lives for the better. So just kind of keep that in mind. And if you're afraid to kind of talk to people, just kind of keep this in mind too. Act like the next person you talk to will be the one whose life you completely change. There's so many top coaches that spoke at the conference that said, if so-and-so hadn't approached me about being a coach, I wouldn't be where I am today. And a lot of them said, that that might even mean that they weren't here on this earth anymore. I mean, that's how much of a difference this company has made in their lives. Like, they were on a completely wrong direction. And by having people that lifted them up and supported them and gave them accountability and showed them that their lives could change just by helping other people be healthy, that, it kept them alive and going and changed their lives. So there was a lot of really powerful messages from a lot of the coaches. You want to create a team culture and a community, and that you want to establish a mission statement for your team. Andrea Crowder is one of the top coaches that spoke, and she gave some really good resources, which I'm going to provide the website at the bottom, and I'll put all this in the team page too. But she said you want to have a mission statement. You want to outline kind of what do you want to do with your team, who do you want to help, how do you want to help them, and how will it benefit the world. And she gave a good example of hers, and I think it's in the website that she gave all of us. But you want to make sure that, again, you're looking for quality over quantity. You want partners, not followers. Followers aren't going to help you build your business. You want people that are going to show up every day in the trenches and follow the vital behaviors and want to help other people. So and then really important about getting to know your team, just like we do our team calls every week. You want to do and shout outs. I know everybody that I've seen, I think, is fairly good about posting in the team page whenever they sign up a new coach, saying, hey, it's so and so, please welcome them to the team. They're going to crush it. What are they there looking for? And then, it gives them kind of a sense of community. Get to know what their family life is like. And then also what she called love language. Like, do they like gifts, or do they like recognition, or do they just like quality one-on-one time with you? Make sure you're recognizing their goal setting, and you're recognizing their accomplishments and kind of building on that. So, we all like a high five, so why wouldn't you give that to somebody on your team? Being consistent with Zoom calls, showing up for your team, letting them know that you're there. And then what they call the permission score, which Andrea said that she can be pretty tough if you want her to be, but she also knows that sometimes maybe, yes, one of her coaches maybe had a bad day, and all they want is to hear somebody say, I'm sorry, I'm here for you. Here's a virtual hug. Get out there and make tomorrow a better day. Or on a scale of 1 to 10, it could be a 9 where they can handle a lot more, and she'll sit down and say, okay, I heard all your bullshit excuses. That they're excuses. So what are you going to do about it to change it? So just kind of figuring out, who on your team can handle what. So the website for her, she gave a lot of worksheets because she's a worksheet nerd like me. But it's tinyurl.com / Andrea's bonuses. So again, I'll if for those of you who can't see the screen, I'll post it in the team page. So kind of the last section was one of my favorite presenters, and I absolutely recommend that you find her on Facebook and you follow her. She does offer outside trainings on Facebook, but she was just a really fun, great presenter. But she is basically the queen of Facebook and how to get people to follow you. So I just kind of gave a quick little breakdown of her notes. When you're creating content, consider that over 40% of users access their social media via their phone, via some mobile site. They're not usually on their desktops. So think about, are you, I know you're not supposed to be using your phone while you're driving, but you come to a stoplight, do you check your Facebook? Do you check your social media? What's going to make them stop scrolling other than the light turning green? Or if they're, maybe they're having coffee and, they can't listen to your video, but they can watch it. So just, make sure your content is valuable again, and eye-catching. I don't know how many people know this, but people sharing your videos and sharing your posts will increase your organic reach. So you want to craft content that is shareable. You can also ask in that, if you found value in this post, please share it. So she's around that, whenever you're creating content, think about whether it's shareable. You want to make yourself kind of an authority figure on the subject. Trying to remember, she kind of said not to use I and we so much, so that way somebody could post it to their site or share it to their site and be like, oh, look what I found. So just kind of think about videos and things and articles that you see shared a lot and how that would apply in your instance. You want to create content that addresses something your audience needs, whether it's more energy to fit into a wedding dress, to lose a few pounds, or just belonging to a tribe. She stressed using, some of us have heard this before, using native videos. So native videos is something that you, again, have kind of recorded yourself. So nothing that comes off of YouTube, nothing that comes off of, I don't know what really other video sites would be, I guess, right now. But I think Instagram might be the only caveat to this because it's owned by Facebook now. So I don't think that you get penalized really. But she said that native videos will get more traction and more in the Facebook algorithms. And then uploading in HD will give you the best visuals. And that's something that you can set up in your Facebook settings. So what I was saying earlier about when you're doing a video, people don't always turn the sound on. So there are ways to add captions to your videos so that people, if somebody can't listen to your video right then, are they going to come back to it? They might remember to, but if you have captions, then they can just sit there and they can listen, or they can, read it as the video's going. So there's an option. She said, I think you can upload SRT files, which I have to Google how to do that because I don't know. And then she said in the Facebook Ads Manager that there is an option, she thinks, to add captions, but I haven't tested it out yet, so I was going to look into that as well. So again, 81% of users mute the video on the sound, so captions are, I guess, the cool new thing. Social networks are rented land. What that means is, the site, like MySpace, could just be gone. Just be gone tomorrow. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg decides that he's made enough money and, you wake up tomorrow and Facebook doesn't open. What are you going to do if you don't have all those leads anymore? They're all in your Facebook. So start collecting all of your contact info as much as you can. Keep it in a customer, what is it? A CRM, customer retain. I don't know. I forget what that stands for. But things like Google Streak or things like Act. Some of them cost money. I think Salesforce has one. So yeah, just start keeping track.
And a real quick tip.
Yeah.
If you something that, because I've not been the best at tracking, like with a CRM, when you get people to opt into the Challenge Tracker app, I'm pretty sure, or even just Beachbody, like a free player membership or club, then they become, there's a customer list on Beachbody. So because I've been doing Beachbody for a long time, I have like 1,000 customers or whatever that now they haven't been, whatever, extinct. They're somewhere. So someone who bought Shakeology 5 years ago, I could talk to them again. I wouldn't remember, sadly, but now I can remember, and my memory is jogged. But so it's a good reason to get them to do Beachbody on demand for a month or register. I think that there's a way to literally just register their name and sign up for a free, just like a login.
And that'll give you, I think with the free Beachbody account, I don't remember how detailed of information they have to put in. I think you at least get their email address. But they do have an option to put in do not contact, which means that their email address will not show up for you. Boo. But if they do sign up as a customer and actually order something, then there is a way to go in and get their address and I think maybe their phone number out of your back office. So that's something to play around with too, for sure. We talked kind of about this, use a video for your profile photo. Building a loyal community. They should be super fans that share and are tuned in and become part of your content amplification program. So again, with having quality over quantity, having more friends, not just followers, you want people that are excited to see what you're going to post, that follow you, using that follow button on Facebook so that they get alerts every time you post something. You want people that, like your stuff so much that they share it to all of their friends and then they share it to all their friends, just that organic reach. What you don't have to pay for is going to be so much better than any paid leads that you might get off of running Facebook ads. Just another thing that she said is that, videos get 3 times the engagement, but are definitely underutilized right now on Facebook. And if you do decide to boost a post on Facebook, give it a couple days to build some organic traction first, instead of just boosting it right away, or using it as an ad right away. It'll help the results increase the reach, and then your ad dollars will go further. So this last page is just the information on the ones that spoke, both coaches and some of the other social media and network marketing people that talked. So I'll put that info too into the team page. I think I can put the whole PowerPoint in there too.
Was Tracy Warren from our team, Team Sparta? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think so.
Yay.
But yeah, because she's a coach, and then she started her own kind of speaking career too. So this is kind of what she speaks on is how to create your story. So yeah. And that's it.
Well, that was awesome, and I love your PowerPoint. That's great. What was I gonna ask? In terms of, and just to kind of connect the dots, Melissa, I know like Maggie is like a new coach and Jessica's relatively new. In terms of all of this, I guess what was your why behind going to the conference and then maybe applying this material? What's the significance of all this for you?
Well, for me, it just kind of helps me find my place in the sea of Beachbody coaches. So knowing that I don't have to be just like the top coaches, they kind of listening to them talk and hearing what they had to say is giving me the confidence to be myself in the social media world. Because like I said, I realized that I'd kind of softened up my personality. And, I've noticed already with just a couple posts that I've done since I've been back that I've kind of been I would say definitely more firm in how I speak to people in the post, but it's already generating people asking me questions.
I loved one of your most recent posts.
Which one?
Like 3 things that you do.
Oh yeah, like that's
I
it.
loved it.
Like this is my system, and that's something that Danielle does all the time too, and Julie. Julie says, I work out, I drink a shake, and I read personal development. Boom, done. That's it. It's like, stop telling me that you don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So again, like putting that in words, but sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, there we go. Couldn't figure out how to stop.
That's awesome. Oh, we had another person join. I don't know. I have Maggie, you're on here, and then there was one more person. Anybody else want to claim
who else is here?
Who?
I am Joy. I'm on the phone though, so.
Hi. Hi.
Hey.
Did anybody have any questions for Melissa?
I don't know if I have any questions like right now off the top of my head, but that was really great what you put together. It was awesome. It seemed like you got obviously a ton out of it. I think just kind of, thinking about like kind of the takeaways I got, thinking about like what you're posting a little bit more, or how, or, I think sometimes I do still struggle with like making kind of a brand, I guess, still like you're not just Beachbody, you have obviously other things going on. I don't have a family. Like my own. I don't have kids. I don't have a dog. I don't have anything like that. I work and I do this, and so it's still kind of that kind of taking that away, kind of what you think about when you're doing that stuff. Kind of the audience you can get is neat. It's different way to kind of think about things as you're still going.
And like I said, use those questions to kind of dive deeper into what you do. And when you think about, what am I an authority on? It doesn't have to be anything mind-blowing. It could be, for me personally, I thought about how I have naturally curly hair. So I could tell people what products that I use to smooth it out, or what products I use to make it nice and curly. The fact that I am 5'1" and I love wearing high heels, so maybe I'll start showing off more of my shoe collection, or how tips to walk more comfortably in your high heels, like what insoles do I use, or do I use stuff to prevent blisters? So that starts kind of just going through your head, and you're like, oh, okay, like I know stuff. There are things that I'm good at, I'm like you. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids, so I feel left out of those mom groups and stuff sometimes. And I think, oh, well, that coach is just a coach because they're just doing well because they have kids and they attract a lot of moms. But no, it's bullshit. Everybody has something that they're good at, and you just have to dive deep and find out what it is.
Right.
Absolutely. It was Amy Silverman. I don't think she's a part of.
No.
Amy Silverman is I'm trying to think if there are other examples. There's not a lot of examples. I think that the reason that moms or people who have kids, it's not that they do better because they're what they are. It's that I just feel like more motivated, but they might just try to not make an excuse for it. But I feel like there's going to be urgency in your life, and there's something about kids and being at home all day that provides a lot of urgency. So if I was, or just any financial situation, if you look at it, at anybody who is super motivated with their health and fitness, it's like, okay, my back's against the wall and I finally did something about it. And then when it comes to financial or having your own business, or like, where does drive come from? And that's some of those.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. I felt like some of us had one. But yeah, it can definitely be an excuse. But I think that there's a lot of versions of not that. It's just it's in my mind, I'm like, they're all working and it just looks different. They're like, they already have jobs or they have 5 different jobs. It's just, they're not, you know, the typical version that you might see a top coach, but I feel like they're coming out and they're manifesting, and we'll be up there talking about how we were coaches for several years while we worked full-time jobs, and that's just what it is. But like Jessica, for example, you're a physical therapist, right? That's your, yeah. I mean, that's something that's like, for example, Sarah Merkel, she is an athletic trainer and talks about her kids, like her student athletes and all that stuff. And I know that she tends to use like some Beachbody stuff a lot, but she tends to hit Success Club a lot. And I think it's legitimately her clout, like her legit knowledge that she leans on, like, hey, I'm an athletic trainer and I know my shit. And that doesn't even need to be on social media. It's just like who she connects with. They know her background. So for you, if I just became your Facebook friend, I might not know that. So you talking about that, or even just kind of like breadcrumbing what you do in, I feel like somebody with that background, that like health and exercise science background, I would be like, okay, she's a physical therapist. Like, what can I learn from her in addition to, I mean, I would be like, okay, she's a physical therapist and she's doing Beachbody. Like, that means something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you could even start, using that to create posts on, how to do certain exercises if you have injuries, how to modify. And that could be, you could do a video series on, different modifications, or not even a challenge group, but just a how-to group if you wanted to too.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But yeah, just start, you have the education, you have the background. So yeah, you can be an expert in that, and that's okay. And that does set you apart from, Joe Schmo that doesn't know anything about exercise science.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, is before marriage, before a dog, no kids yet. It was all about getting women together, besides just, yes, bar hopping sometimes, but like in my world, it was getting people together of like-mindedness and creating that team. So creating that culture is what I think people started to be drawn to outside of like the classroom. I mean, so many, Maggie probably can attest, there's so many people that come to my classes, and then, I mean, Jess, you remember, they talk maybe a little bit, but it's amazing what happens when people are coaches and we can come together in these conferences. You can be online as a community. And I was able to translate that online based on just getting people to these events and taking pictures and showing my relationships with people. So it wasn't necessarily, I didn't relate to all those other things, but I related to somebody who was seeking a community, and just translated that online. So I know what you mean, because it's so hard to not compare yourself to the people who have done well, but your version of that is exactly what's going to prove to somebody else. They're going to think that they wish they had your circumstances. When you're doing well, they're like, oh, I wish I was a physical therapist. Like, no, you just did a very good job portraying that. Melissa, you did such a good job breaking all those things down. That was really good. I'm trying to think of the other questions I have. So I feel like we talk about this a lot, and how to open up conversations about what people are doing for their health and fitness already. But that is so true. Like, how many people are in love with their jobs or their situation, or don't want a little more? Like, how often are we really getting to the...
And maybe it's just you don't know how to approach them about that. So that's why I thought that came from Jessica Higdon. Her and her husband were really good. So definitely check them out online for more tips. But just how to kind of initiate those conversations. Sometimes you don't know what to say, but yeah.
Easy enough at Angie's List. That's funny, because we'll all talk about how hard it is. A lot of us have been there forever, and it's such a weird transition to be like, well, what would your dream job be? And the more you kind of, when people knew what I did, and it was very clear that that's kind of what I want to do. And they're like, even my manager would ask me, is that your end game? Is that something you really want to do? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if not many other jobs, I believe in multiple streams of revenue, but if I do see myself doing way more of this and continuing to be successful in this. And what I haven't done is, so what's your dream? Like, are you happy with this? Is this where you want to be forever? It's an uncomfortable conversation, but that was a really good breakdown as to how to transition into that. And I think as simple as, how about you? I'm trying to think of a good way. Do you feel like you have a good way to, even in person, have that conversation with somebody that you're working with or complaining about their job? Because I feel like that's actually something that happens all the time. Like, you always hear people complain about their jobs. But the next step is, how do you transition that into?
I think it all depends on your personality too. I mean, or what your relationship is with that person already. If it's somebody that you're good friends with, be like, why are you doing it then? Like, why don't you take steps to do something else? Stop whining, stop complaining. Like, I know how to help you. Here it is.
Right.
Got it on the platter for you. Like, right here. You just have to, like, would you, they said, would you be willing to put in a few years of hard work to be where you have always envisioned yourself to be in a couple years? Think of yes, we do this to help people, but at the same time, we want a life where we don't have a boss that we have to report to every day. We want to be able to not have to call in sick or take vacation days, or, you want to take your kid to soccer practice and not have to miss work. Like, you can do this from anywhere.
Right.
Amy Silverman lives in Puerto Rico on the beach, and that is her life. I had to stop following her because I just couldn't handle it anymore. Like,
yeah.
Like, yay, I do want that, but I just can't see all of that right now.
Right.
But, then that's trying to get people that you are inviting to the business to envision where they want to be in their lives will help you talk to them about this business.
Yeah, I agree. And you become that person that really cares. Like, I probably fell in love with Dwight because he was the first person to ask me what I wanted in life. Like, that's the truth. And was the catalyst for me to, like, okay, let's just do this. I mean, no one asks themselves that enough, let alone. Yeah.
But you also have to know that you're going to be that person. If you're inviting somebody to be on your team, you have to be that person that shows up for them and helps them. Like, don't just sign up a bunch of coaches and then just be a dead fish. Like, be there for them. They can probably figure it out on their own, but you will have a much better and stronger team if you put in the work to move everybody along.
Very, very true. Julie, it was funny seeing kind of Julie, because Julie was there, our coach, and she did, what did she say? She was like, there was a video that Brianna captured and she shared it on the team page, and she was like, well, it was awesome or whatever. And Julie was like, every time I go to these things, I second guess exactly what I just said, because everyone is so brilliant, but they're all so different. And she's like, I regretted it. But then again, people come up to me and said that it really resonated with them. So it's such a good example of everyone having such a clear, just a different mind perspective on it, but making it work. And I actually had a conversation with a lovely friend and coach the other day, and she was kind of going down that route of limiting belief. Like, are we too late in the game? Or are there too many coaches? And was she just got in early? And I'm like, and I really racked my brain, and I was just like, it's legit hard work. It's just legit time and hard work and passion. Like, if you're a new coach and you're wondering, I don't want to work that hard. I mean, I don't think a lot of these people even realized that they wanted to. It was like within them that's how I feel, at least. The past 4 years I've been going at it, I just really enjoy it, and I really see the impact it makes, and it makes me want to be better. And I just feel like you just see people continue to elevate the expectations they have for themselves in this business, and that's what creates this large business before they even know it. I don't know, Melissa, so there's all those steps. What was your overall feeling when it came to, like, just people who in this business, people who are doing well, like people at the conference? What was your overall takeaway just being there?
Basically knowing that even though I'm new and I'm not where they're at right now, that it's you had that feeling that it was absolutely possible, but you can't be lazy, and you can't make excuses. You have to put in the work. It's not going to come to you. There's not some just magic lead rain cloud that's just going to rain people down on you.
Right.
You have to do the research, and you have to figure it out, and that's why we have the resources that we have. So, I was thinking too, like I saw so many people in the Platinum Edge group that were, on the Facebook group, that were trying to transfer their tickets and sell their tickets because they couldn't go, they couldn't afford it or whatever. And I understand people's budgets. I'm not saying anything against that, but I just moved 3,000 miles. I don't have a job. I should not have gone to this. I should have sold my ticket, but I didn't. And I made it work, and I made Summit work. And I think that if you want to really drive your business, that you have to make those certain sacrifices in the beginning. Like we tell our customers all the time, when they tell us that they can't afford a challenge pack, we want our customers to spend $140, but we won't spend a couple hundred on a conference and figure out how to make that work, to make our business better, to be a better coach. What are we saying to our customers if we won't do that? So
Totally. That's awesome.
I got lots from it.
Good. I knew you would. And the fact that you shared that when Melissa was like, I'd love to lead a team call, I was like, bingo, exactly why. It's so much less work to get people in challenge groups. It's so much less work to get people to conferences. So much less work to, have you guys leverage your leadership. And that's like the best learning grounds that there is. So I'm really proud of you, Melissa. Thank you for sharing that with me and us. And that was awesome. So the PowerPoint, you're going to post the stuff in the group, and then I recorded it. So I'll upload it and definitely post it.
Okay.
But yeah, any last questions? I know if you're Maggie, if you're like just joining, this is a lot of high level stuff, but it kind of is just a reflection on what we do to make ourselves better, to help more people. So just, whether it be now or long term, if you want to grow your business, it's something that is just good practices to get to know yourself and kind of learn how to be effective to reach people. Because whether it takes a few people to cover your Shakeology costs and that's your goal, it does take a lot of people to kind of notice you before. It doesn't just happen by people just seeing a post here and there, which Maggie, I saw her post her, PIO thing already, which made me really excited. So it's where it starts. And then the rest is kind of how deep you want to dig into this and what all you want to get out of it, which Melissa and Jessica and Joy have all just not even gradually, just, continue to, again, grow and become better and better and dig deeper. So it's neat to see that all happen naturally. So I feel good about this business because the longer people are in it, the more people want to dig deeper. It's like, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's just like when you're starting an exercise program, it's okay to be a beginner. Everybody's a beginner. It's just a matter of putting in the time and learning, and eventually you'll get there. And so you can't get discouraged. You just have to find those resources that will teach you what you want to know, teach you what you need to know, or get you where you want to be.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Melissa. I know we went nice and long, but it was perfect. Great content. Yeah. And I learned a lot. I wish my brain was a little fresher, but I learned a lot. So I'm sure I'll talk to you more about that. Anybody else have anything else?
No, that was
just thank
awesome,
you.
Melissa. Thank you.
Melissa.
You're welcome. Great job. All right, guys. Have a great night. And if you guys want to lead, no pressure. I never do PowerPoints, but if you want to be as amazing, we can do this every week, every month. I'm cool with that. But yeah, always
practice your live video skills with the team calls.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it. You did awesome, Melissa. Cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Have
Thanks,
a great night.
Melissa.
Good night.
Night.
Bye. Night.